how did Lizzie feel about now? Why did she never marry? Was it because she was taking care of Sate?
No.
Or she was taking
Sate and Liz, they both had boyfriends. But they were dedicated to the mother. The mother lived to be 97 years old. Grandma.
Their mother was
Mary Ann O'Neill.
okay.
And she didn't die until 1932.
Memory of a better time.
His Uncle Jack died in 1936. They just stayed with the mother. Sate had a boyfriend by the name of Bowl.
John Bowes.
Yeah, that wanted to marry her, but she wouldn't marry because her and Sate were going to dedicate her, like nuns, going to dedicate their life to taking care of the mother. She never went out anything.
So Liz and Sate lived in that house down in front of the railroad
Born
tracks
there and died.
And took care of their mother in that house until her mother,
died.
Mary Ann O'Neill, died.
Yeah.
Now let me look at my. So it's so this would have been your grandfather, William. Your grandfather William Major died, leaving Mary Ann and her kids, which would include your dad and Liz and Sate and everybody. But Liz and Sate stayed in the house with their mom until she died in around 1936 or something around
1932.
32. And for that reason they didn't get married. How old would Liz have been in 1932 when her mother died?
How old was Lizzie when she died? In her 80s?
Let's see, Lizzie died in 1970. She was she was 87 years old.
She was 87
Yeah.
when she died in 1980. So she was born in 1893.
Yeah, she was a baby in the family. My father was born in 1878. My 17th, St. Patrick's.
Lizzie was the baby of the family.
Yeah, my father was born on St. Patrick's Day.
No wonder he's Patrick. Okay.
They would have named me Patrick if I had stayed away 3 more days. Or hadn't stayed away.
That's right, you should have held in there for 3 more days.
Yeah, I'm dying to get out.
So Lizzie would have been born in 1890.
That's got 1893. They got it right, yeah.
Because she was 87 when she died in 1970. No, wait a minute. She died in 70 and she was
87.
87. So no, 93 isn't right. what day is St. Patty's Day? March 17th?
17th, huh?
Okay, so let's see. If she was really 87 when she died in 1970, then she would have been well, that would have put her. Was she 87 or 77?
87, pretty sure. What year is that?
Well, if she was 87 when she died in 1970, she would have been born in 1883.
Okay, I think you got it.
And she was the baby of the family?
She was the baby of my family. My
What-
father was born in March 17th, 1878. How old is that? What would be the difference between
5 years.
5 years, that'd be about right.
5, okay. I didn't realize Lizzie was that old. Wow. 87.
He was on a long time.
Jeez, I can't believe he's got a memory like that.
Oh.
I couldn't have given you that information.
I didn't know she was 87, Dad. Of course, let's see. So how, assuming it was the summer of 1960 when I stayed with her.
Were we living across the road?
No, we were living in Auburn, and I stayed with Lizzie for 2 weeks when we were living in Auburn. We were guessing it was about the summer of 1960. She would have been 77 years old at that time when I stayed with her.
Lizzie was an old woman all my life.
I tell you something.
She carried me up the damn stairs.
Yeah, I tell you.
And put me to bed.
Let me tell you something.
The devil's bed, she called it. Why did she call it that? Do you know why she called it that?
No, I never. That's just all new to me.
She called it, there was one bed, it was a single bed, it was up real high, and I slept on it upstairs, and she called it the devil's bed.
I wonder why she said that.
I don't know. She had a reason, I can't remember what it was. Whether somebody fell out of it and hurt themselves, or...
It might have been the account of the sister that had the spinal meningitis.
That's the story that she fell out of that bed or something?
She kept falling out of it, going back in the rocking chair and hitting her head, and falling out of bed too, I suppose.
That might have been the connection there.
Yeah, I remember her saying that's the devil's bed.
Let me tell you something now. You come from good stock.
It's pretty obvious.
Because your great-grandmother, when she lived to be 97.
Which great-grandmother?
Grandma Major. And she could, I think, well, how old would I be? Around 10 years old or something like that when I got down to see her.
This is Mary Ann Quigley?
No, Marianne.
Or Mary...
O'Neill.
Mary Ann O'Neill.
Yeah. And she wanted me to pick some cherries. I had a big cherry tree. It was that big around in the trunk. And there was black axe cherries, nice big juicy, but there was up on top of the tree. And she wanted me to go up and pick them. And I started up the tree and I got afraid and I come down. And she said, well, you stay here. And she shimmied up the tree and got the cherries. And she was still breaking wood over her knee for kindling wood. Chunks of branches and things like the size of that. Piled them up to go on the stove.
Amazing.
And she was never, I don't think she was ever sick, but she just lost her mind from old age.
Yeah.
And
well, you know, the thing that amazes me is that during that 2-week period, it was sort of a thing of amazement. I remember that Lizzie, when I would fall asleep downstairs in that front room watching TV after eating my Franco-American spaghetti dinner, she picked me up and carried me up those stairs and took me to bed. She was over 70 years old when she did that.
She was always in good health up until the time that she sent for me, and went down and she says, look, Bud, she said, my ankles are all swollen. Don't drop it, I don't know, we used to call it drop seal.
Yeah, Mom had it.
Yeah, a heart trouble, my had it, yeah. And she says, what am I gonna do? She says, my time is up. I said, well, Lizzie, come live with me. When you sell your house, come on up. Well, she didn't know. I said, well, the kids all love you. If you wanna come, you're welcome. And later on, she told me she would tell him that she was gonna sell the house. And then we had to wait to get her in the hospital. She come on up, I was taking care of her. And waited to get her in the hospital. And finally did get her in. And she wouldn't, she was so worried about losing her mind like her mother, you know.
Yeah, she always says,
Yeah.
I go before I lose my mind.
Yeah, I wanna die before that happens, so
Did her mother have Alzheimer's disease or lose her mind? You know,
just
become
from old
senile?
age. I mean, she was good up until the last 2 or 3 years. Probably,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so anyway, she didn't like the hospital. She was only in there a day or two, and they had to strap her in the bed, straight jacket, like, you know. And
Was this in 1970 or thereabouts?
just
before she died,
yeah.
okay.
She was only in the hospital about a week. She died. But then she slipped out, and they would come in the bed and be empty. She'd gone. She didn't want to stay there anymore, and you got to stay. And no time at all, and she was dead.
What happened to her? How did she die?
Just
Was it
died.
heart failure or
Heart
something?
failure. Well, yeah, heart failure. It was from what do they call it?
Congestive heart failure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, she got her wish. She died before her mind went.
Well, anyway, she sold the house
Yeah.
and everything before she died. And that bloodsucker real estate woman there, she was a Brent Ann Awards, and if they had a, she didn't sell the house right away. I mean,
Well, she had us in the will.
yeah.
We were in the will, so we,
But we would have had something to say about the house. They wouldn't have got it for that price.
and so, Bud and I were survivors. When we inherited about $14,000 or $7,000 each, we sold the house for $14,000.
There would have been a lot more there if they hadn't, them bloodsuckers didn't get a hold of her.
Some realtors or something? Or?
Yeah, and she was a sticky, shady.
I was down here,
I remember when it happened. I remember when
There was
Lizzie,
nothing they could do anyway because
we were down at the Kirstings that night.
That's right. I took off with Kathy and they drove up here, and I took a plane up there.
Yeah, well,
Kathy drove back home to Tampa, right?
no, this was 1970. This was the summer I was a sophomore. Kathy was still at Lopez, I guess.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We were
well,
still, yeah, we all drove back up.
Oh,
That was, Mike was throwing up the whole way because we got drunk the night before.
Oh,
Mike, remember that?
Yeah.
We were down, Mike and, we were down visiting our old next door neighbors down in Key West, and the night before, in the middle of the night, we took a 6-pack or 2 of beer, and me and the kid and Mike went out and drank it, and Mike was just puking the whole way out.
How old were you then?
In 1970, I would have been, this would have been 2 years before I graduated from high school, so I probably was about 15, 14.
You guys are sneaking out drinking beer. Yeah, I remember that now. I could still see you guys jumping off that damn bridge down there.
Yeah.